Okay, there are some new options that I want to talk about that the A1S version 2 BSS edition has that the A1S and the A1 does not have. Now, first thing I want to talk about is going to be the access of strobe and also the access of what the tail cap switch does. Now, these two models have a single thing, one thing that the tail cap switch will do. This new A1S version 2 Black Scout Survival Edition, it's got 3 functions that the tail cap switch will do. But the first thing I want to talk about is the access of the strobe feature. So when we turn the flashlight on by fully depressing the tail cap switch, and then we come forward to the mode switch, if we push and hold the mode switch down, just hold it, that's how we would access the strobe function. Okay, it's the same thing on the A1 and the A1S. So if I turn the A1S on and then I hold down the mode switch, you can see that I can very easily access the strobe function. Now when it comes to the Wowtac A1S version 2 Black Scout Survival Edition, it doesn't have that function to access the strobe feature. So for example, I turn the light on. When I push and hold this button, it does nothing. All it does is cycle through the modes. I can sit there and push and hold it all day, and all it's going to do is cycle through the modes. Okay, so I want to make that clear. They've changed that. They've taken that accessibility to access strobe from the mode switch. They've taken it completely away on this new flashlight. Now, let's talk about the tail cap switch and what's cool about that. So on these models, the A1 and the A1S, you can monetarily push this button. And what I mean by that is pushing it halfway without actually clicking the button. And what that'll do is that'll light up the light to the last setting that the memory remembers, the last mode that you were in, whether that was low, medium, high, or turbo. Any 4 of those modes. Now, it won't do it with SOS and it won't do it with strobe. So let's say I turn the light on, medium, high. Let's say I was on high and then I turn the light off. When I half press without clicking the tail cap switch, you notice that it goes to that setting, the last setting that I was on, which was high in this case. Now if you like what you got, you could push it the rest of the way and make that click happen, and you could keep that or turn that setting on or lock that setting into place. Okay, so let's say I'm in low now. Turn the flashlight off, half press to low, and no matter how many times I half press this button, I'm only going to access that last setting. Again, low, medium, high, or turbo. And then when I like it and I want to keep it, I just click that into place. Okay, that's the model A1 right there. The A1S, exactly the same. So I can half press all day long. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, as many times as I want. It's not going to change. And then when I lock it into place, again, I can cycle through the modes. Let's say there's turbo, right? I could half press to turbo, see that? And then lock it in if I want. Okay? So because of the memory function. It won't do it with SOS. So when it comes to the A1S version 2 Black Scout Survival Edition, there's some changes. Okay, so I still have that feature that I talked about in both of these, and that is half press and I'll access the last mode accessed. Nothing's changed. Same thing, low, medium, high, or turbo. Click it into place and turn it off. Now, this is where it's new. If I push this, if I half press this twice, that takes me directly to turbo and I can lock that in. Now, if there's the third function, which is if I push this 3 times, half press, half press, half press, 1, 2, 3, look at that. It accesses the strobe function on the flashlight. The reason I like this so much is because if I had this flashlight in my hand and I have a firearm here and some attacker's coming at me, my thumb is in perfect position to access this switch, so therefore I can go to whatever mode I want and lock that into place. Okay, two half pushes to go to turbo, things like that. It's a little bit more difficult to access this mode switch when I'm holding a firearm in my hand, and I like that new setting that they've added to this flashlight. So and you cannot access strobe anymore by pushing and holding the mode switch. It doesn't access strobe no more. You can get to SOS right there. It's just low, medium, high, turbo, and then SOS, but you cannot access strobe no longer from the mode switch.